Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Hopefully, you're doing wonderfully at home. I'm taking off from our last video where we had teams. We have 3 teams right now. We divided them into 3 teams, and when we run our program, it tells us it divides the people into 3 different teams. Now, there's one more thing that I wanted to teach you about this, and it's dividing them into teams from another file. Now, this is wonderful if people know how to program, and they can just change the names in the people, and then they can run the program, divide it up, everybody's happy. However, turns out not everybody knows how to program, but what everyone can do is they can type in names on a file. So to create a text file, we're going to do this right in Thonny. Now, when we click New, when we save this, I'm going to go File, Save As. Now watch this. This is a little tricky. Instead of saving this as a Python file, we're going to click on this. We're going to go to Text Files, and we're going to save this as characters. All right. And notice on the top, all of my other programs say .py, but this one says .txt. That's a text file. Now, sometimes we might take a text file from somewhere and bring it in. For this project, we're going to make our text file like we're just doing here. All right, so I created our text file named characters. So now I'm going to list off all of the characters that I can think of. So we have Steve, Nancy, Jonathan, Mike, Will, we have Dustin, we got Hopper, Lucas, 11, is there any? I think it's a good chunk of the people. So I just threw out some names, and now I just list them. And you don't need to know much about programming to list a whole bunch of names up. Great. So now, so instead of having people like this, we're just going to erase this line. Instead, what we want to do is open this file characters in our program and read the information and then use it. So the first thing we want to do is create a file where I'm going to say open, and there's 2 things. When I say open, notice how it changes color. It means that it already knows what open means. It wants us to first know what type of file it is. So characters.txt. So that's the file that it wants to deal with. And when I hit comma, it wants us to know, do we want to make a new file or do we want to read a file that already exists? This file already exists, so I'm going to put quote R and end it. Now that already exists. Now, so all this line does is it takes this information and reads it. Now what we want to do is save that information as players. So we're going to do players, we're going to look at file, and we're going to say read, open and close parentheses. Now sometimes that's all we need to do, but since this is in different lines, I'm going to do dot split lines, open and close parentheses. Now, one thing that I want to make sure you do before you actually run this program is I'm not sure if I save this once I have all the people in. So make sure this is saved. So it's the most recent updated version of characters.txt. And now when I come over here, I can just hit run. And it says that people are not defined. This I called players. These I had people. Let's turn this back to people. All right, now when I run it, now it splits them up into the teams perfectly. If I run it again, it does so as well. So now I have my teams.